So the most common place that you see Miranda depicted on TV right now is police procedurals such as Law and Order. Those shows I think, give the viewing audience the most distorted view of the Miranda's decision and the necessity of Miranda warnings that I encounter on a daily basis when talking to defendants, which is this misperception that as soon as the handcuffs are applied, that's when the Miranda warnings have to be given. That doesn't happen in the state of New Hampshire by and large, because that's not the training in the state of New Hampshire, and that's not the law. So those shows are kind of galling for police officers and people in my line of work, because it gives people a false sense of how it has to be done.
I agree with that. I mean, that always it shows on Law and Order and those other police TV shows that the moment they put you in handcuffs, as they're doing that, they're spitting out you have the right to remain silent, you have the right to an attorney, and as Jim just said, that does not happen in New Hampshire. And I see that a lot with my clients. Sometimes the first thing that they want to tell me is, they didn't read me my rights. So does that mean that, my case goes away? And unfortunately, I have to tell them, no, that doesn't mean your case goes away. And there's many, many people who go through the entire process and are never informed about their rights because the police don't sit them down and question them. So on the one hand, it really annoys me because it gives people this, total misconception about Miranda. But there is a silver lining for me, in that it gets the Miranda warning out there. I think that, it's now like a part of pop culture, a part of our culture. Everybody can, even younger kids who watch television and movies can say, well, I know I have a right to remain silent, and I know I have a right to an attorney. And in that sense, I think it's great that is said all the time on television. That's for the best.
One of my favorite depictions of the necessity or consequences of not staying silent in the face of Miranda warnings in a custodial interrogation depicted in movies is My Cousin Vinny. So anyone who's watched the movie will recall that at some point the Ralph Macchio character is being questioned, interrogated by the sheriff that has arrested him. The sheriff knows, and the audience, the sheriff knows that the clerk has been killed. The audience knows that the clerk has been killed by someone other than the Ralph Macchio character. The audience also knows, and Ralph Macchio's character knows, that Ralph Macchio's friend accidentally shoplifted something from the store. So in the course of the interview, the Ralph Macchio character admits that they did something wrong at the store. And then the sheriff says, and you killed the clerk. And the Ralph Macchio character says in a surprised and questioning tone,
I shot the clerk.
Yes, when did you shoot him?
I shot the clerk.
Hey, Dean, we need you out here. I'm in the middle of a damn confession here.
Whoa! Wait a minute!
But when that gets to court, the sheriff reports to the court that he questioned the defendant, and the defendant said, I killed the clerk.
And he said, I shot the clerk. I asked him again. And again he said, I shot the clerk.
And I think that that's a fairly accurate rendition of how that would happen in real life.
Yes, and I think one of the good things about at least the police departments that I work with in New Hampshire, a lot of them video record the police interviews. And that can be really helpful for exactly that reason. If you were reading a transcript of that interview, it might have, the defendant saying, I killed the clerk. But if you're able to show, the jury the video where the guy says, I killed the clerk, the look on his face and the way he says it means everything. And so I guess, I encourage everybody not to speak with the police, but if you're going to, ask that it be video recorded, because there's a lot that you can take away from that.